the lowest I've ever seen it on a speed test was 38. Like, and
Yeah.
one my highest I've seen was like 350. Like,
all the stuff, so I've been out there in this heat. About ready just to chuck it and say, just take it all to the dump or something. Open up the door and say, come get what you want.
I'm not saying it didn't happen, I'm saying I didn't see it.
Right. I'm sorry.
I do like this emblem though.
Mm-hmm.
That really
It looks
sets
nice,
you-
doesn't it? I didn't know if I was sold on it or not until I saw it, started seeing it on the
It
paperwork
wasn't my
and,
first choice. But I like it.
yeah, I like it too. It's got some color, but not too
How are
much.
you?
Good.
I was rushing in.
That's okay.
It's doing okay.
Yes, thank you.
We got a few snacks, but overall good.
Probably.
Where we need
With that grandbaby there, I don't blame him.
Tracy's going to have Oasis next week, and probably speak. I'm thinking he might speak Sunday.
Oh, he may. He does a good job too.
Yes, he does.
They all do good jobs.
Yeah.
We'd like to call to order the Tuesday, June 18th meeting of the Danville City Council. Madam Clerk, roll call to establish a quorum.
Mayor Ricky Williams,
Present.
Vice Mayor Tricia Teague,
Present.
Alderman Ed Butler, Alderman Heidi Wilson,
Butler's here.
He made it.
Carolyn Wands,
Present.
James Pichard,
Present.
Mike O'Kane,
Here.
Bob Iverson,
Here.
Mike Poor,
Present.
Rick Streebing,
Here.
Sherry Pickering,
Here.
Eva Ludwig,
Present.
Robert Williams,
Present.
Darren York,
Here.
John Cooper,
Here.
14 present,
14.
Madam Clerk, I believe we have 13.
including Mayor, sorry, 13 present.
Thank you very much. At this time, we will have the invocation led by the Reverend Thomas Miller, the pastor of New Life Church of Faith, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Alderman York. Please rise.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for our mayor and our city council and all of our leadership that's here tonight, everyone in the room. We thank you for our city, Danville. And Father, we will continue to petition you for your blessings upon our city. We thank you for all of the progress that we've already made, and we are just grateful, God, for the new pool opening and just all the other improvements. And we pray and ask that you continue to just give wisdom to our mayor and our city council and everyone that's responsible for the continuous improvements of our community. Keep everyone safe. Continue to bless our chief of police and the staff there. And God, we just thank you for the many, many blessings already. And we are agreeing even tonight that any efforts against Danville will not work. Any person or any group that would like to harm our community, we come against that spirit now in the name of Jesus. And we praise you forever and ever and ever. Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor Miller, we'd love to hear about any updates you have of things that have recently happened or things you have coming up at the church.
Well, we know we recently were blessed to get the Heavenly Square grocery store open. And I just want to thank you, Mayor, the City Council, and just everyone in the community that helped us to get the store started. And any one of you that's been in, we thank you for your support. We pray that others will continue to support us. We had a slow start just because of the process that you go through when you open a new store as far as getting approval for the SNAP and the WIC. But overall, we're really excited, and we're glad that we're going to continue to be able to serve the community, and things are continuing to go well at the church. And for anybody that don't have a church, our motto is whosoever will, let them come. God bless you.
Pastor Miller, we appreciate everything y'all do for the community, and we're especially excited about the store. I've had occasion to shop there a couple of times myself, and really good produce and such. So I wish you all the best.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Thank you,
Pastor.
everybody.
You have before you the minutes of the June 4th meeting. Is there a motion to approve those?
So move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. You also have the agenda for this evening. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
So, second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Seeing none, roll call vote, please. I'm sorry. Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. We do have an agenda this evening. I do not have any proclamations or board, committee, or personnel appointments. Are there any reports of boards, agencies, or commissions?
Yes, Mayor, I just want to report to you and the council that we're ready for Community Day. But please keep in mind it's now called Mary Thompson Community Day. And I do want to announce that we just celebrated her 90th birthday last week. And we announced this at the party and she was just so excited. So in looking at the flyer that I have passed out, it's going to be held on Sunday, July 14th from 2:30 to 4:30 at our Temple Plaza. We have a group coming in from Indianapolis called As One Gospel Singers. And we're also going to present our winner of the Danville Got Talent, Delane Robertson. So it should be a good program with free food and fun for the children. And we do need volunteers, so please come if you can. Thank you.
Thank you, Administrator. This is always a great day for Danville. It's a time for everybody to celebrate, have some fun, have some good food, and you'll see a lot of us back there serving your food. So come on out and have a good time. Items of information, I just wanted to say that we had a really good First Friday recently. Tickets sold out, and there were people that wanted more and weren't available. So just remember, if we have limited tickets, make sure you get them in advance because it will be difficult for you to participate otherwise. Excited we have our carnival coming up at the first Friday in July. That'll be the 5th, and we're going to have a zip line, climbing wall, and all things carnival. So excited and hope to see you all there for that as well. And as Administrator Finch says, we want to just thank and wish Mary Thompson a happy 90th birthday. It was great to be able to be with her to celebrate that day. She had family come all the way from Mississippi, and as someone who has people from there, that was a long trek for them. Madam Vice Clerk, is there any petitions, communications, or audience comments this evening?
There is. When I call your name, please come to the podium and you'll have 3 minutes to speak. We have Thamar Zillman regarding the third dispensary.
Hello. My name's Tamar Zillman, and I'm here. I think Danville's a great town, and there's room for 2 dispensaries, but I don't think there's room for the third. Really, technically, if you look at the one in Tilton, that makes 3. Right now on our sign, it says we have, 29,200 in town. I know it used to be closer to 50,000 people, and we are growing strong, and we are growing. And I see that first dispensary does have so many people, clients, that they did seem to see reason for a second one. And the second one is here to stay. So let's give these 2 a chance to, really solidify in Danville before really looking at a third one. I think the truck stop is a great idea, and I think I understand the reasoning behind it, so they can get together and be able to do that infrastructure. But I think it's something we should really think about. I don't think we need yet a third one here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Zillman.
I have Carol Hogue regarding Mary Works rezoning.
Good evening. I'm here this evening to request that the council vote yes on the Mary Works zoning request, which is item 8A. I don't feel that any of our views on marijuana are relevant. This facility will locate somewhere in Vermilion County. I believe the relevant issue is that the city of Danville will receive the economic benefit from where this facility locates. I ask that the council approve agenda item 8A. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hogan.
We have Ozzy Porter of Chicago regarding cannabis.
Good evening. My name is Ozzy Porter. I'm a social equity owner with 7 Point. I'm a real estate developer of low-income housing in Chicago. And I first like to thank the Mayor Williams and City Council for allowing me to speak on behalf of 7 Point. And Danville has said no to more cannabis dispensaries many times. On January 2023, Danville Council denied special permit for a parkway to build next to Sunnyside Dispensary. May 30th, Danville Planning and Zoning Commission voted 4-0 against allowing New Era to build on Lynch Road. Danville does not need another dispensary. The following samplings for cities that have 2 dispensaries and their population: Bloomington, 78,000 people, only 2 dispensaries. St. Charles, 71,000 people, only 2 dispensaries. Park Ridge, 38,000 with only 2 dispensaries. Buffalo Grove, 42,000 people with 2 dispensaries. But what we summing up is we don't need another dispensary. We need time to let this one grow, and so it can become a part of the fabric of the community, and that the community will grow as well with the dispensary, and not just about the dispensary coming in and taking. We want to be a part of this community and help develop this community in any way that we're called upon. So whatever that is, we're available and want to be a part of this community in any kind of way that we can. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Isaiah Gonzalez regarding the expansion of dispensaries.
Good evening, Council. My name is Isaiah Gonzalez. I am a member of the city of Danville for all my life, and proud to be here. Can say that my family's from here, and they're happy about that as well. I want to give recognition for the time that you all taken for the city of Danville in general. I understand this topic has come up on multiple occasions, and I'm speaking to express my concerns towards opening a 3rd dispensary in Danville. As a city, should we support independent businesses? New Era and Sunnyside are corporate cannabis MSOs. Sunnyside, or 7 Point on the other hand, is going to be a social equity. So doing so, we can help diversify the city of Danville together with supporting this social equity company. Does accepting a new dispensary this soon not show that we've given up on a mom and pop shop? 7 Point's been here for what, 2 months maybe? And I feel like the support hasn't been taken to dive into what they can offer for the city of Danville. As a city, I don't want to be known as a city that has dispensaries. I want to be known for a city that coordinates and shows and expands. We are somewhat known for liquor. We're known for bars. We're known for stores that provide alcohol. I don't want the same to happen with dispensaries, just that we have an abundance of them. Why can't we have a couple that we really thrive on, that we really show support, and that we really carry on for this city? Opening another dispensary can take employees from the current business, which could bring them down, of course. It could take customers, and it could hurt the newest business in Danville. All I'm saying is that we haven't given time to explore the opportunity presented in front of us. Promoting 7 Point can foster diversity within the cannabis industry and benefit our community. With the uprising of dispensaries, you also have the uprising of craft growers. Craft growers are not the MSO companies that are funded by themselves, of course, to produce new strains, new flowers, new products. 7 Point reaches out to as far as I know, because I've seen on their menu, they've reached out to these craft growers that don't have much, that are just getting on their feet. And Pastor Miller just mentioned, the defaults that come with opening a new company, a new brand. It's a startup that is very, very slow and that needs time to be perfected. And please consider taking that time. So I ask, Please consider taking the opportunities at hand and help our community continue to be diverse. Thank you all for carefully weighing all the factors before us, and your thoughts are greatly appreciated, sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez.
Brianna Bogard regarding roads and third dispensary.
Hi, I'm Brianna Bogard. I'm just a standard citizen, born and raised here. Glad to be a part of Danville, glad to be a part of the community. Personally, I think we should focus more on putting our money towards the roads in our area instead of like adding a new dispensary, a third one on top of that. I'd much rather see, like, for instance, the old Oakwood Avenue, my basically childhood road that I grew up on. It is nothing but potholes left and right. My mother, who is fighting cancer, is driving down that on a day-to-day basis. And she's like in constant pain from it. So I'm just hoping that we can try to like focus a little light on that, because I don't want to see my mom hurting anymore. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Bogart.
Michael Mervis regarding land development.
I'd like to begin by congratulating all of you on getting the pool open. It's my understanding that in the 1950s, my grandfather fought to have a pool in this town for all residents, which was not the case in the 1950s in Danville. So congratulations, and I'm delighted to see it open again. As a business owner out on that side of town, I'm not particularly delighted with dispensaries, but they're already there. And they're there not because we're a town of 28,000, they're there because we're immediately adjacent to Indiana. And if you look at the license plates, I think you know where the business is coming from. But the question of dispensaries is really already settled. You have two. It's not going to change the way Danville works if there's a third or a fourth. It's just competition. We had the opportunity, and were approached a few years ago, to put a Casey's in front of our facility in Crawfordsville. It's a beautiful fit in front of our facility. Kind of hides the scrapyard behind it. Right off the interstate, opened about 3 weeks ago. It's a wonderful amenity to the community. Immediately, I began talking to them. I've got some land that you might like. Because 40 years ago, when GM was closing down, my father had a vision, acquired as much land as he could around that area with the idea to develop it so that we could have more business and jobs. 3 years ago, when we were approached, we were delighted to sell it to the developer who put in the FedEx facility. We're at another crossroads. We're losing more jobs. It's my understanding from Vermilion Advantage that the three things that that business park would find useful are childcare, and I got some ideas and some space, but this isn't going to help that. A QSR, which I've learned lately is a quick serve restaurant, because there really isn't anywhere where you can grab something quick at that exit. Yes, there are a couple restaurants out there, but not where someone going to work can grab anything. And a high-quality gas station and truck stop. Because right now, yes, there's a place where trucks can fuel, but I don't think many trucks are coming off the interstate to stop there. Instead, that tax money that would fix the roads that are so torn up is going out to Oakwood, or it's going into Indiana. We had an agreement with Casey's. Everything was ready to go until they got the utility costs. The cost to bring natural gas to that edge, actually just to put a regulator in so it can be distributed, is almost $500,000. Now, we have no qualms about giving that acreage to the project away, but Casey's couldn't afford $500,000 for a gas regulator. We talked to a number of QSRs, started with the local franchisees. We can't do much about the lack of rooftops in the neighborhood, right? No families around there where they can stop. But the thing that kept coming back is there were no businesses that would support a QSR in terms of not just places like Flexingate or like our businesses out there, but there were no businesses that fit in with a QSR. Well, having a Casey's apparently is attractive to QSRs. And having a dispensary is attractive to QSRs as well. The dispensary has agreed, and I want to be clear, we have no financial stake in the dispensary. And since I was 15, my mother made sure I had no social stake in any dispensary or their products. If you've met my mom, you understand. The dispensaries agreed to take down 2 acres for their facility, an additional 2 acres to spread the cost of development for a QSR.
Mr. Mervis, I apologize.
I'm running out. Casey's will take down 5. Without the dispensary, I don't think we can get Casey's in this deal to go, and that would be tragic for development and business support. I'm sorry to have overrun my time. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mervis.
Laura Bernal, for the dispensary special use.
Hi, good evening. Actually, I wasn't sure if I was supposed to submit a card or not. I'm here with the petitioner, so should I speak or should I wait until
Sorry,
called?
you'll have an opportunity to speak.
That's what I
when it's-
figured. So that was me misunderstanding the order of things. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Charles Williams.
Same with Charles. Yeah, Charles is with us.
Okay. Jaleel Jones regarding the dispensary.
Hello. Hello. This is my first time here. I should probably do this, so. Hello. I'm here. Want to just, lay out why we shouldn't get more dispensaries, because I mean, our town needs more for the kids than anything. Like, the pool was a great idea, but I feel like we should have more for the kids than anything else. We're pushing more drugs than, anything else. We need food out there on that side. I've been here my whole life. I've stayed in Danville my whole life. And I really don't know if we've ever had any food out there really, other than the gas station. And basically, I'm just here because I am an intern for 7 Point, and they gave me a chance to, grow with the community, grow with everybody, instead of just staying where I'm at. I've grown so much with Brad and Amy because they took me under their wing and they helped me, see my own potential for what I could be. So basically, all I'm asking for is just, just a little bit of more time for our business to grow and to, come together, because we're really here for the community, And I will be doing downtown with Juneteenth, helping the community, pushing more just for the community, because Danville is where I'm from, where I was raised, and I just want to see it get better. Thank you.
Felix Velasquez, regarding city inspectors and abandoned houses.
Good evening, City Council. Mr. Butler, can you pass me around, please? Okay. Thank you. I am here in regards to a property at 718 Sherman Street. When I acquisitioned this property, this is what it looked like. It was an eyesore in the community. I am also a pastor. I am the director of a recovery group, so hearing about dispensaries tonight is kind of cool. But my concern is that this is what the house looks like now. $60,000 later, the house has become an asset to the community. These are some of the pictures of what the property looks like inside. And the reason I am here is because I own a company called Integrity General Construction, and I've been in operation for almost 9 years. So I know the process and due diligence that's required when undertaking a project like this. When I undertook this project, Stephen Christman, he was one of the inspectors. I did everything that I had to do. I submitted all my permits. Stephen would come out. Felix, this is amazing. I love what you're doing here. So recently we got a gentleman by the name, I believe his name is Dan Brown. I don't know if he took Stephen's place. He deemed this property uninhabitable. Yeah. This is an uninhabitable property because they did not do their due diligence, and they can't find record of anyone ever coming and inspecting the property. I am $60,000 in 2 weeks away from a tenant who is a pastor in our community moving in. Not only have we made the neighborhood a little bit better, but now we're putting quality, not that our citizens aren't quality, but we're putting people that are probably going to pour into this neighborhood. My concern is that this is just how, and again, I'm coming from a place of feelings, right? Because I feel that if someone is doing this, they should be applauded. They should be like, wow, I love Danville. I love our city. I think that we should knock down less and allow some of the houses that can be restored. We have some beautiful properties in Danville that have a whole lot of heritage to them. And if we can't save them, then allow some contractor to go in and the stairways and these old antique doors and all this beautiful woodwork that's inside, let's reuse that. Everything doesn't have to be in a landfill. We can repurpose some of this stuff in making Danville beautiful again. So my concern is, as I came to the hearings down here, that I almost lost the momentum. I was at this high, if you will, and the property's taking this beautiful shape, and I got this momentum, and I come here, and I'm told that I can't, that I have to stop what I'm doing. And this is my concern today, that I don't know where the breakdown was, but I know that if you check records, that my permits were pulled. I just don't know what happened as far as who dropped the ball when the inspections came by, because Mr. Crispin, he would come to the property and give me the okay to move forward. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Velasquez, I'll be sure to follow up with you tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's all I have, Mayor.
Is there anyone else who wishes to address the council this evening? Yes, please come forward and state your name and what you wish to speak about.
Hi, everyone. This is my first time here. My name is Ayla Kendrick. I've been a resident of Danville for about 9 years now. I'm just here to speak on the dispensary. I really don't feel like we need a third dispensary. I do feel like we do need more restaurants and everything out there on Lynch Road, because by me working at all of the factories out there, it's hard to, we only get 30-minute breaks. So it's hard to travel and not have food and everything and then get back to work on time. A third dispensary to me is just like Jaleel said, it's like we pushing drugs and liquor out here instead of investing to kids and everything that we need out here. The kids are our future. It's a lot of kids like in the Fair Oak neighborhood. We can invest into that because they, it's just all negative that's been said about Fair Oaks. And I feel like that we should be investing into things that we already have out here instead of contributing to another dispensary. Thank you.
Anyone else who wishes to address the council this evening? All right, seeing none, we will move on. We have item 8A, an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance for Petitioner Maryworks LLC special use permit number 262 for property with the PIN number 24818100010. Is there a motion to put that on the table?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved in second. At this time, I would like to invite the petitioners forward to provide remarks.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for hearing us again. I want to start by acknowledging that this has been an ongoing conversation in the city of Danville, and I assure you we have been listening. I know that another petitioner has been turned down for a dispensary on the Lynch Road corridor in the past. We ourselves had come up with a proposal a few months ago, almost a year ago, for another location. And when the Planning and Zoning Commission did not support our petition, we withdrew that petition because we took that feedback about the concerns about that location very, very seriously. We also listened intently to the conversation that you had about expanding zoning to allow dispensaries in other parts of the city. We've spent a lot of time meeting with different stakeholders in the city. We've visited a lot of properties, and we really think we have come up with a plan that minimizes any of the potential negative concerns with the dispensary. It maximizes the positive benefits to the city. As you all know, there's only really one area in the city where dispensaries are currently allowed, and that's the area that's right off of the border in Indiana. All of the previously proposed dispensaries have always been to the north of that exit. What we're proposing to do today, as you can see in our filing, is to have a dispensary that's actually going south on Southgate Drive. That area is zoned for business because it's an area that's intended to be a commercial, active business area. But if you go and drive it right now, you'll see it's nothing but farmland. We believe, as Michael Mervis was the owner of that piece of land and also part of the family that has given decades to this community, we believe that if we can be the important puzzle piece by making a very significant investment to bring in the infrastructure, the utilities, and really make possible the development of that piece of land, we will unlock many additional benefits to the city. We will unlock not just the jobs and the taxes that will come from other businesses being there, but also the amenities, as other people have mentioned already, the amenity of having additional places for people to eat that work in all of the factories around there, a much higher quality place to get gas, and there's already interest from an additional business that would be interested in additional industrial uses there, which would result in additional jobs. So we think not only would having another dispensary help Danville maintain as much as possible of all of the tax revenue that's going to be generated from cannabis, which is very significant, keeping that coming to the city of Danville, it also would bring additional benefits. It also minimizes the many concerns that we have heard about dispensaries. When we previously came to you with a proposal for something that was closer to the existing dispensaries, there were concerns about traffic. There was concern about truck traffic and other tourist traffic of people coming to the casino, to all the new developments, to the hotels. There were concerns about the brand of the city, because if someone is coming to see those new developments, someone is coming to the casino, they would see all of these dispensaries and think, maybe this is a dispensary town. What we're proposing to be, we will be not in the way of any other businesses. We would not be in a place that anyone really is driving by unless they're intending to go there. There are no other businesses right there. And we are as far as it is possible to be from any sensitive uses in the city. You couldn't find a location in the city of Danville that is further away from residential, that is further away from schools, that is further away from churches. I know there's been extensive discussion in this group about the effects of cannabis in the community. We believe legal and safe cannabis is the best that the city can do, while also getting these other important benefits to the city. The city has been, I think, very lucky to have two excellent operators there already. It is my understanding that there have never been any safety, compliance, security concerns, underage children having access to cannabis there. Carrasco Cannabis, that operates Sunnyside, is one of the largest cannabis companies in the country. They do an excellent job. In fact, we work very closely with them. They're one of our biggest providers. 7 Point has built one of the most beautiful cannabis facilities I've seen in Illinois, and they're also very experienced operators. They got their first dispensary license at the same time we did back in 2014 or 2015, one of the original medicals. They had a successful sale to a public company of that already. So although this is their one dispensary right now, they bring to the city years of experience. We know we will be facing competition there, but that's been the case everywhere in the state. Someone talked about the number of dispensaries for the population. I would like to point out that in the state of Illinois, 25% of all sales of cannabis are to out-of-state residents. Dispensaries along borders are some of the highest grossing dispensaries, not just in the state, but in the country. Reporting, I don't know the exact numbers here because the city is not able to report cannabis taxes, but I know that dispensaries and borders around Illinois make anywhere from 25 million to 40 million in sales a year. That means the average dispensary in Illinois makes $6 million a year. That means there's plenty of room for an additional dispensary that would, again, not just bring in the tax revenue and the jobs that the dispensary itself brings, but really unlock an entire new area of development for the city. The last point I wanted to make quickly, if you don't mind, is this idea that we're a faceless corporation that's coming into the city. New Era is actually a family-owned and family-operated company. I myself, I'm part of the family that started this company. And we're an Illinois company. We're based out of Chicago. But most importantly, this license itself that will be operating here, we will be managing, we will be bringing our expertise, we will be bringing our years of experience in operations and compliance. But the ownership of this is actually a social equity group that won this license as part of the competitive social equity licensing process that the state went through a couple years ago. And in that note, I would like to introduce Charles Williams, who is the majority owner of this license and will continue to be, is a longtime friend and a person I admire greatly. So I would love for him to just speak about his background a little bit for a few minutes.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to address you this evening. My name is Charles Williams. I'm a retired veteran, spent 3 years in the Army Airborne, 18 months of that in South Vietnam. I'm a 33-year veteran of the Chicago Police Department. My last assignment there, I was a deputy superintendent of patrol, so I was in charge of every district in the city. And I also spent 5 years as the commissioner of the Department of Streets and Sanitation in Chicago. So I have a long history of working in municipal government. And when I was able to get this license, I was looking for a company that I could work for that I knew would be able to do a great job. New Era is that company. Not only are they family owned and operated, they work very closely with the communities that they are located in. You want a company that's going to partner with the community where they are. This is that company. There's a tremendous history here in Danville. While I was waiting for the meeting, I looked at the 3 plaques across the street in the building, 1934, 1932, 1928. And it gives a little bit of history about what great city this is. You're not declining, you're growing. More development will help that. And that's what this company wants to do. They want to bring business, bring growth. You have a fantastic history here. Those plaques help outline it. And I'm truly looking forward to hopefully working with you and the communities of Danville. This will be a great partnership. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Just for the record, no relation. All right, at this time, open the floor for discussion and debate.
Well, I'll start it. A couple of questions. It's in regards to a lot of the comments were made out there. There is no city money going into this project, is there?
No, that's correct.
That's what I thought. So, you know, some of you guys said there's money going. It's not. Let's clear that one up real quick. Yes, my point is I've been around this council a few years. Nobody's ever inquired about that property these people are inquiring about. This is a multi-million-dollar project they're wanting to put there. And I get it. You know, 3 dispensaries, in my opinion, you know, competition isn't a bad thing. I'm really not in favor of having 4 coffee shops up on North Main, but we got them. And you know, and you look at them and they're busy. So you know, this competition thing, you know, I understand it. Never once have I heard anything from Sunnyside, and I've been to most of these planning meetings they've had. I've never seen them at any of these council meetings, so I'd like to know where they are. It seems like they'd have a concern too, and they don't. The city does need the revenue. You know, you got gas tax, girls complaining about our roads. I understand it. The gas tax, it goes to the road projects we have in town. That will help. If we approve this thing, you know, you might get more outlet malls or something else out in that area too, which is something we need. You know, we've lost Quaker. And that wasn't a good thing, and there's been a couple other businesses that we've lost too, and I just don't see how that you could reject what they're asking for. It's going to provide income, it's going to provide jobs, it's going to provide quite a bit that the city needs, and it's a shot in the arm that we need right now. The Planning and Zoning Committee passed this 6-zip. You know, and we're the ones that appoint them to do their job. And I think if we don't agree with them, if I was a member of them, I'd probably quit. I think they know what they're doing, and you know, their meeting lasted for about 2 hours, so I think they know what they're doing too. So I'm encouraging the council to follow their lead, and I fully support this project.
Thank you, Alderman Cooper. Yes, Vice Mayor Teague.
Actually, before I speak, I have a question for Mr. Mervis, which is, how long has it been since you originally proposed to Casey's to put the truck stop at that location?
So Casey's is a large company too, and they work on their own schedule. Yes. When they decide to put it in, it goes up fast. So we began talking to them about this property almost 2 years ago. We had an agreement. When we found out just how expensive the utilities were, we actually returned their earnest money, which was not what we were required to do, but it's good business, right? People we want to work with. I couldn't speak more highly of working with them over in Crawfordsville. They love the spot. It's just a matter of the utilities. We have to bring more businesses in. And of course, once you stick the utility costs on Casey's and on this poor dispensary here, then those costs, so those utilities are already in for the next businesses to come in, and that lowers the bar. You know, I understand all the concerns. I understand the concerns about competition. I hope we don't have a discussion about competition from a third gas station, because that's competition too. But, and for the record, I don't know what my father would say if I was standing here, so, you know, supporting this, other than he's a realist and times have changed. And what he wanted, what was best for Danville. And if we can bring a restaurant, and we can bring a high-quality gas station that will help keep businesses in that area or bring more businesses in, I think he'd be proud of us for that. Thank you.
Thank you. And then I also have a question for the team, or I don't know who might have the answer. Has there already been conversations, and I think I heard somebody mention this earlier, so I just want to make sure that I understand correctly. Has there already been conversations with a QSR, any restaurant? Go ahead, come back up, Mr. Mervis.
So without a doubt, the first thing I did was approach people who have franchises and are in Danville, because why wouldn't you?
Right.
You know, McDonald's is a real estate company. It's not really a burger company. Burger King, same kind of issues. We've gone beyond that and reached out to Taco Bell nationally, because it is kind of funny to say Taco Bell next to a dispensary, but that's just me. When one of the groups was nice enough to share their summary of what they found at the property. And we can't do anything, as I said, about the lack of rooftops. There's no high school next door, which is probably good because it's a dispensary. But they're looking for high schools nearby because, of course, they're looking for workers. The area that really hit me was when I looked at the part that says what businesses are co-located or in the immediate area. And they want gas stations within 3/4 of a mile of these facilities. They're looking for anything else that will bring in traffic. I'm looking for something that will serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because I think that's what you need if you're going to support the businesses out there. Does that answer your question?
I guess really what my real question is whether or not a QSR has expressed interest once the utilities have been put in place.
It's not the utilities, it's the other businesses.
It's the other businesses.
It's the other businesses. It's one of those, if you build it, they will come. And I point out, while we wait for them to come in, Casey's also has breakfast food and stuff that you can grab and go with, which is what's missing out there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I want to address one of the comments that was made during public comments. One of the notes I already had, Alderman Cooper already addressed, which was whether or not city money is going to this, and we know it's not, but I want to make sure that the public knew that. The other thing I wanted to address was as it relates to the number of dispensaries in our city versus other cities, because I took the time to look up the Bloomington region and how many were allowed in the Bloomington BLS region. Danville is being the county seat and the largest city in Vermilion County. When you start talking about how many dispensaries are allowed. There's the number that are allowed in a city, which is up to us to govern. And then there's a number that is allowed in the BLS region, which is determined by the state of Illinois, not by the city of Danville. Now, that means that the one that's in Tilton counts as one of the ones in the Danville BLS region, but it is not in the city of Danville because the council decided not to allow it in the city of Danville, and the council has the right to do so. But I wanted to make sure that there's a point of clarification because, and I've said this previously, so I will say it again, we have no control over what happens with the state. And specifically, this is from the Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulation. They are the ones who determine how many dispensaries go where. They have determined as a result of lawsuits, because originally there was only supposed to be one additional dispensary in Danville. But that changed. And when that changed, they decided 3 additional dispensaries, that's in addition to Sunnyside, were coming to the Danville region. In Bloomington, the actual number is 5. Now, that might not be in the city of Bloomington, but the Bloomington BLS region has 5. So I just want to make sure that everybody knows factual information that's coming from the state. So I said that to say, this dispensary will go in this region. They have to. They have no choice. They can't go to Chicago. They can't go to Bloomington. They can't go to East St. Louis because they were assigned a license here. The question becomes whether or not they come to the city of Danville or not. The only people who get to make that determination is us. Like Alderman Cooper said, planning and zoning, I didn't know it was a 2-hour meeting. I read about it in the paper. But planning and zoning made a decision after listening to all of the questions and asking, I'm sure, a number of questions. They decided 6-0 to vote for this, knowing that they were also the same body that rejected the prior application for the same company. So obviously whatever concerns that planning and zoning had originally were addressed and addressed to a satisfactory level for them to vote unanimously to send this to us with a recommendation. I personally believe that, in my mind, as it relates to this particular property and what it does for the city of Danville, is bigger than the dispensary. Because that plot of land has been empty for a number of years. And to be quite honest, when you look at truck stops, because I thought about this after thinking it through, we have 4 exits in the city of Danville, and there is not one truck stop, which means there's a lot of gas tax dollars that we're not getting. The closest truck stop, actually, and I have a friend who's a trucker, and I had to pick him up one time because he was about to clock out, and he lives in the city of Danville, and he stopped at a truck stop in Tilton. And that truck stop in Tilton, which is fairly new, is always busy. And the next closest truck stop is just past Martin Luther King in Oakwood. There's actually 3 now. So we have the opportunity to get cannabis tax dollars, to get gas tax dollars, which would pay for the roads, and then to have more business developed in an area where there is a lot of development happening, but no restaurants, very few restaurants, because the casino does have a small restaurant, but very few restaurants to service a large population of hotels and also employees. So to me, of course, you all know, because every time we voted for this before, I've always voted yes on the dispensaries. So, but for me, this is bigger than that, and there is a lot of opportunity here that we would be turning down. And I don't see anybody else beating down our door to put a restaurant out there. And I know that there are many people who have tried to put restaurants in that area. I am fairly certain that Vicky, who used to be the CEO of Vermilion Advantage, tried multiple times to get other restaurants out on Lynch Road. So this is an opportunity for us to have a lot of development happening. And I know some people have issues with dispensaries. You may determine that it is unfortunate that it's tied to a dispensary, but we already know that Casey's wants to have somebody share the burden of the cost of utilities with them, and if this dispensary is willing to do that, then I say we go for it. The last thing that I want to say is about the competition. There's a lot of businesses that have developed in Danville that are in competition with other businesses. We have at this point, I think, more than 4 coffee shops on North Vermilion. I think it's more like 5 or 6. We don't get a say on which ones are coming where. Why? Because it's a free market system and they don't require a special use permit. They only have to come to us if they decide to rezone. We have a whole lot of car washes, and we don't get to decide who gets those because they don't have to come to us unless there has to be rezoned. This is a special use permit, therefore it has to come to us. And I feel like we are required to put the needs of the whole city above all else. There have been, and also to the point that the team made, there have been, none that I'm aware of or have seen in any police report or any news report, 0 to no issues at the dispensary. I see people standing outside in the cold sometime. I don't understand why, but that's on them. That's their choice. This is a great opportunity for us, and I feel like we need to take it.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Chairman Poore.
Thank you, Mayor. And I will attest to Michael Mervis's, that case is over there. It's beautiful in Crawfordsville. I go, get my granddaughter a couple times a month, and I've watched the progress, but yeah. I too met with Brad Zimmer. I also met with representatives from Cresco in March of this year. Going over information and things, talking about limiting the number of dispensaries, relocating dispensaries so they weren't all on Lynch Road area. And I've got an 18-page PowerPoint that I'm not going to go all the way through, but Parkway's not doing as well as everyone thought it would. Tilton thought they'd be getting $1 million a year off that revenue. It's not nearly that much because there's only certain number of dollars in a community, a city, a county that goes to this type of activity. So no matter how many you have, it's not going to increase per se your sales tax from cannabis sales. Somebody else may fail a little. Somebody may have specials, or I don't know how you have specials, but Cresco Labs, who is very big in Sunnyside and different things and all over the country, they've done a lot of studies on additional dispensaries. Additional dispensaries opened up in states that currently don't have them. Some of the states, especially the northern part of Illinois, has seen a 40 to 50% drop in sales tax revenue in Illinois when other states legalize and make it available for sale. There's been dispensaries in California, Oregon, Nevada, different places that have shut down because they can't make it in the market because they're so saturated. So those are things to think about. Let's face it, Indiana eventually will have dispensaries. Might be a long time from now. They're pretty red, but I shouldn't have said that, but But anyway, there are, there's risk in your endeavor. There's risk in Mervis's endeavor with the land and things. A dispensary without a truck stop out there and a QSR, I mean, it would fail. I mean, it would. And splitting the money up equally, because if what I read was correct, you've already talked to Tilton, and if you go to Tilton, you would not do a truck stop, you just want a dispensary. Is that accurate?
We have a hearing in Tilton later this week for a property there.
Their village administration and village board are voting on the 20th
That's correct.
as to whether they want to allow any more dispensaries in their community or not.
And the reason we're pursuing both at the same time is we have a deadline in
They're not in
July
the state.
by which we need to tell the state what will be the location of our license, or else would stand at risk of losing it. So knowing that this is not a certain thing, we need to have options for our dispensary.
And I mean, I understand your dilemma too. I mean,
Mhm.
that's why that's so important for us to make a decision tonight, because if Tilton says no, then you pretty much have nowhere to go, and lose your license and your investment you already have in it. I don't see a lot more revenue coming in from sales tax on cannabis personally. The market's, it's just gonna be divided a little bit more, divided into thirds now instead of with 3 in Danville. I guess whoever does the best job marketing and everything else will be the ones that prosper the most. Michael, go ahead.
Sorry, if I could clarify. They're really sort of our customer, as is Casey's. They don't have any real tie to Casey's. They've just been willing to take down an extra 2 acres for the QSR to make it work.
Okay.
So Casey's a separate entity. I'm just trying to put them
Okay,
both together.
gotcha.
Thank you.
So I mean, do we need cases? Absolutely. Do we need a QSR? Absolutely. Do we need another cannabis dispensary? Let's say, I don't think we do with 3 already in Vermilion County. It's gonna go somewhere. 7 Points has their own, they've got the vinyl attached to theirs. Sunnyside has Snoop Dogg cookbooks. I've been told that's what's inside there. I know Brad put in $7 million in 7 Points. I'm sure you're gonna have close to the same, especially utilities and things in. Sunnyside, of course, had an existing building that they moved into. But, basically, according to the Illinois Cannabis Regulatory Oversight Board and their officer, recreational cannabis sales of Illinois by month, January of 20 to November of 23, plateaued. There's no growth. Hasn't been any growth since May of 2021. The numbers have remained flat. So, as other states open up, sales drop. Michigan, Illinois, drop. They just keep going down. So, if we think we're going to make a lot of money off sales tax on cannabis, mature markets are down 11% from quarter 1 of 23 to, or quarter 1 of 21 to quarter 1 of 23. 11% drop in, that's just how the trend is going. Again, 50% revenue drop in the bordering communities when another state opens up. So, we need to, revenue change, like when Missouri opened up, revenue dropped an average of $23,000 a week. Well, a third of all cannabis revenue. So it's tough. I can't vote against it just because it's competition. But I just want everyone to be aware that there's only X number of dollars out there for cannabis, and it's not gonna increase a whole lot in revenue. And if Indiana does open, you can see numbers plummet pretty drastically. That's just, like I say, I would love, back in December, we would have voted to allow on South Gilbert or to allow on Bowman Avenue, so they wouldn't be all concentrated in such an area. But we didn't, the way we were afraid to change the ordinance, because if we had changed it, we couldn't change the ordinance because it wouldn't be, because everything we have developables in residential borders it. So, that's a flaw on our past fathers for allowing all the different developments and ordinances, but, you know, I mean, I'm glad you're willing to invest in our community. You know, and I wish you good luck. And you know, you're going to be laying out a lot of money just to get up and running. And of course, once you do have this item, you still have a whole bunch of regulatory stuff to meet. There's a lot of the stuff in the. That's maybe another. Are we just zoning the 2 acres for the new era and the QSR as it reads, or are we, if the special use permit is just for new era dispensary and the 2 acres for the QSR, that's the only part of this that's being rezoned?
Yeah, this is not a rezoning petition. This is just a special use permit for the dispensary.
So all we're doing is granting a special use permit for these basically 4 acres. The two for the QSR and the 2 for New Era. None of the other property for Casey's or anything like that's included in the special use permit. So does that still remain farmland then?
Correct. What is being considered is just a special use permit. What is being proposed and planned are the other items, but what is only being considered is a special use permit, nothing else. All the rest of it is a use by right.
Okay. And this only goes to New Era, so if New Era would ever decide to sell, they could not sell their interest in this special use permit. They have to go right, they'd have to either close or come back to the council for approving someone else, correct?
Correct. New Era would be the owner of this special use permit.
And it just goes with the owners, not with the property?
Correct.
Okay. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Vice Mayor.
I want to bring up a point to something that Alderman Purr said, which is if we vote no on this, and if Tilton also votes no on this, and they lose their license, the next person in the lottery would get that license to still come to this region, and then they would still be right back here.
Yep.
And this will continue on with every licensee, because the state has determined that 3 licenses come to this region. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands that even if we vote no on them, then their option is to go to Tilton. Now, they might end up being licensed in Tilton, in which case then this is all over and done with. But if they end up being voted no in Tilton, then the next person on the list gets a license, because that's how the licensing system works.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I also wanted to clarify, I remember at the hearing that Mrs. Jaramillo said that although they're going through Tilton, they prefer to be here in Danville. They strongly prefer to be here. The truth is, we've been working with them on this project a couple of years. It's just been finding the right location has proven difficult, but they've been diligent about this for several years now. Yes, Vice Chairman Pickering.
I understand what you're saying, the Illinois district, they say they can only have so many here, but we as a city council, don't we determine how many licenses can go out? Can't we make an ordinance to that effect?
We could make an ordinance stating how many we would allow here, just as we have for, let's say, video gaming or alcohol licenses and things like that. Yes.
Correct. So we could stop the flow of the people coming here if we wanted to.
They could still come and request that the ordinance be changed.
And
because
also,
we've had that happen with gaming. We've had people come in and ask, can you please increase the number of gaming licenses, because my business is a bar and this other business is a gas station and they have a gaming license but I don't, and you said we have to have pour licenses and we're actually a bar and they're just pouring alcohol because they want gaming. And then they've come and they asked us to increase the number of gaming licenses. So it would be the same thing. It would just be another hoop that they would have to jump through.
Correct.
To come to the city council.
Correct.
one of the things to me is that this is coming here one way or another. I don't see any way that Tilton rejects this. So if they, let's go on the premise that Chairman Poore shared, and that there's only a limited pie. There's only a limited amount of cannabis that's going to be sold. My question is, do we want half of all the sales, all the revenue from that, or do we want 3/4 of that revenue? That's the choice we would be making, because we know if they don't go here and Tilton approves them, they will be going there. Yes, Vice Chairman.
a lot of what I was going to say is already been said, so I'll move on. But I don't know whether 3 cannabis dispensaries in that same area are going to be successful or not. I guess the demand for marijuana is a lot higher than I ever expected it to be in my lifetime. But it's really not my place to tell a business person whether they can open a store. There's locations where we have 3 gas stations at the same intersection all over the place. We can also point to a location on Main Street, though, where 2 drugstores are right next to each other, and they both failed. So I guess it's up to people like the vice mayor and her organization to tell people what a wise movement is for location and product. What I like about this proposal is we do get other businesses, plus we get needed infrastructure, which will help that area. Now, there's one more part I'm going to bring up, although I'm going to be largely considered a thorn in the side of City Council for saying this. There's another aspect of this proposal that some aldermen need to consider so they don't appear to be, let's say, inconsistent. A few months ago, we were discussing the women's health care clinic. There were aldermen who said some obscure federal law hasn't been used in decades is more important than following the state law that we're all sworn to uphold. Let's look at marijuana. The state says it's okay to use. We can sell it. Cities are anxious to get the revenue that marijuana can bring. But don't forget, the federal government says marijuana is illegal. So we're going to go right past the federal law. If we grant the zoning request, we're saying state law is more important, not the federal one, which is the exact reverse of what was said earlier. So it seems like the state law is important when it comes to cannabis because we can make money, but not when it comes to health care. I think, and I'm going to be alone in this, probably, if we approve the sale of cannabis, we need to go back and reverse the vote on the women's health care clinic because we're talking about the state is more important than the feds in this case. Now, I think we should vote for it anyway because of the things that have been said today. But the more I thought about that, I was like, it's illegal, but we're going to do it anyway.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. Other comments? Yes, Alderman Broussard, and then I'll get you.
I yield to elders. I'm very familiar with Casey's. They're one of probably the largest, most successful convenient truck stops in the Midwest. And I got excited whenever I heard about it, but what's turned me off really is the cannabis. I just don't, it's not whether or not all 3 of them will survive. It's just I don't want a 3rd cannabis shop in my city. It's just that simple. But I'd love to see that Casey's come in down there on Mervis's property. I was coming out of Indianapolis here the other evening and went by on 74, his property. I looked up and I told my wife, I said, what's going on over there by Mervis's property? There's a Casey's and it's all lit up, and did it ever draw attention? So I mean, I'd be for it. I just can't vote for the candidates, but the Casey's, I wish it would have went. That's where I'm at.
Thank you, Alderman. I think for me, one of the challenges is we likely don't get a Casey's if there isn't a cannabis station.
Yeah, I understand.
That's in my mind. That's one of the challenges here because you all will recall probably a year and a half ago, I mentioned to you the fact that there was a truck stop looking at this place. Well, it was in fact Casey's. They did in fact pull out because of the infrastructure issues. Now they're saying they're willing to be back in the game, and I think we have to avail ourselves of this opportunity if possible. Yes, Mr. Butler.
Yes, I'm sure y'all know how I feel about cannabis. If it was me, I'd get rid of the first 2. Of the experience I've go through there with our kids. I thank Alderman Purr and Bob and Alderman Broussard for your comments, and I really appreciate your comments about as far as, we get the 3rd one in. There might not be much of a resources of funding. And I also like to thank these 2 young people had the courage to come up and talk about that we need something for our young people. Young people's already strung out because of all the drugs that's going in and around our city. And then to see Danville gonna add to it. Okay, yes, we said, okay, it's clean, but it still gets you high. And that is my main concern about this marijuana. So like I say, once again, I really appreciate these young people coming up today. Y'all are our future. And you're looking out for the younger people that's gonna be as well our future. And so obviously, I will be voting no.
Thank you, Alderman. I would just like to point out for the record to make it clear that all but one or two of the people that spoke against the new dispensary are employed by another dispensary here in town, including some of the young people who spoke.
Oh, you're right, we just don't need a third one. Yeah, it just happened to snuck through.
My concern is in regards to a lot of you guys, what you're saying is take your personal out of it. This is something this town needs. This is a major development coming into an area that needs it. It's providing jobs, which we need, unless somebody's got some other cure here that I don't know about. But you've got to take your personal out of this thing. And I see that happen a lot, and I see it's going to happen today too, but I just want to stress, I don't like that. But
yes, Alderman Cooper, it's not personal to me. Oh, well, somewhat it is. It's personal to me is because the young folk there, the rest of you there might not deal with young people. But it really hits me hard that when I sit down and talk to young people, y'all know what I do, I mentor kids. And then just to hear those kids talk 2 or 3 hours why they need some marijuana to get along. So we got a Hyster company can employ 200 people. They're looking for land to expand. Weren't we trying to find land for them to expand it, to keep
We are.
Hysters here?
We actually have, and we've had meetings with them, Mr. Butler. If
Yeah,
you
yeah.
would communicate with us, you would know that.
Well, that is wonderful. This the first time I've heard that, and I want to meet with them myself there to see where we can help them. But yes, Cooper, I feel you about it. But for me to sit down and talk to these young folks, I mean, there's a war out there, and our kids are getting hurt and they're getting killed because of this marijuana.
Yes, Alderwoman Lud.
My concern is that if this goes to Tilton, it will be in closer proximity to our schools, our churches, our kids. And if it goes out where it's proposed to go, it's going to be a lot further away from our families and our kids.
Mm-hmm.
And it probably will end up in Tilton if we don't approve it tonight.
Thank you. I would just like, yes.
One simple statement is, we can probably count on one hand the last several years of what we've been able to vote for new jobs in this city, and this is an opportunity to vote for a new job, so I don't see how we can turn it down.
Thank you. I would like to make a couple of points. Number one, as many of you all know, my very close cousin, April, who is just 2 years younger than me, she was one of the most beautiful people you could ever meet, physically and in spirit. She was a kind person. And she got addicted to drugs. And although she didn't overdose, eventually drug use killed her heart. And thankfully, we got 10 days with her in the hospital before she passed. One of the issues with what caused some of her heart issues is that she got stuff that had other things in it that were tainted. We've seen a number of our young people overdose in this community because they thought they were smoking marijuana, but it had something else in it. So although I will probably never personally smoke marijuana, I would much rather, if folks are going to, them have access to safe, clean marijuana, number one. Number two, as Alderwoman Ludwig just said, the proximity of Tilton is much closer to nearly all of Danville. So if you're concerned about how it's going to impact us, it's going to be here or there. So do you want it closer or further away from all the people and families if you're concerned about that? Third, as Alderman Poor said, we don't know. Sales may or may not go up, but one thing that I can tell you is that if it's not in our community, we know that we're going to get less of however much money is spent on marijuana and taxes. And as you all know, we put every bit of that towards additional pension payments for our police and firefighters, which has helped us make good progress this past year. Fourth, I would say, and finally, I think development is important in this community. If you would have ever told me that even 7 or 8 years ago that I would be sitting here saying this, much like Mr. Mervis, you know, we've been on the opposite side on a few things, but we can work together too, and I'm proud of that. But I would have told you no way, but for all of the reasons that I've mentioned, and also for the fact that this is going to bring much needed development. You think Vicki Hogan didn't try? This woman spent decades trying to bring restaurants and gas stations, and look what we have out there. We have a lot of wonderful hotels. We have a lot of great manufacturing and warehousing facilities. We have a beautiful new casino that has a couple of really nice restaurants. And then we have two of the biggest eyesores in that area in terms of our truck stops. As was pointed out earlier, we have people that are stopping all the time in either Covington or Tilton or Oakwood to get their fuel. It was tens of millions of dollars in fuel tax revenue that we are losing out in this area in the study that was recently conducted of the area. So I say, although it's not my favorite venue, if this will help us, I think we absolutely should support it. And also, and on top of that, they have a proven track record of running a good business with no kinds of major problems or regulatory failures of compliance. So as much as I know I'll disappoint some in the community, and as much as I know it will encourage others, I have to, for all the reasons, I hope that you will support this and vote yes for it.
Call for question.
One more question, maybe.
Yes.
Logan, this might be weird. Are there grants or things available? Is that enterprise zone, anything out there?
Yeah, so that is in the enterprise zone. It's not grant money. It would be only available for property tax abatement, sales tax abatement on building materials, and half-price permits.
No utility extensions, things like that are available?
Oh, not that I'm aware of.
The question has been called. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Ed Butler,
No.
Heidi Wilson, Carolyn Wands,
No.
James Pichard,
No.
Mike O'Kane,
Yes.
Bob Iverson,
Yes.
Mike Poor,
Yes.
Rick Streebing,
Yes.
Sherry Pickering,
No.
Eve Ludwig,
Yes.
Tricia Teague,
Yes.
Robert Williams,
Yes.
Darren York,
Yes.
John Cooper,
Yes.
9 yes.
9 yes, the motion carries. Moving on, we have item 8B, an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance for petitioner North Ridgeview LLC, special use permit number 263 for property with a PIN number 18294010001. Is there a motion to dispense with the reading and approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Yes, Vice Mayor.
Okay, I have a question. So this is the strip where Mad Goat is now?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
The fifth coffee shop.
exactly. I think more like eighth.
Yeah.
But anyway, so are they planning to, are all the people that are there planning to move? Because it says 2601 to 2605. And I believe one of those addresses is Mad Goats.
No, correct. Yeah, it would just be utilizing one of the center units that's vacant.
Oh, so it's just a vacant unit in that structure?
Correct.
Okay.
Any further discussion or debate on item 8B? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Alderman Wilson, Alderman Wands,
No.
Alderman Pichard,
No.
O'Kane,
Oh, he left.
Iverson,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
Streebing,
Yes.
Pickering,
No.
Ludwig,
No.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
No.
Cooper,
Yes.
6 yes.
6 yes, the motion fails.
I think you missed one.
Oh, I'm
He's
sorry.
not at his
Yeah,
seat.
no.
Call
Mr.
vote.
Butler,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Alderman
Alderman
Butler,
Sorry
sorry.
about that.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, I can speak up.
Alderman, do you vote yes or no?
I said no.
No.
Okay, very good.
Sorry.
7-6, the motion fails. At this time, we have item 9. I'll entertain a motion to approve the payrolls for for June 7th and June 14th, 2024.
I got a question in regards to that last vote. Can we revote when he comes back?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yes.
he'd be, if not a 7-6 vote, there's only 12 of them who voted.
I'm sorry, it's a 6-6.
Here he is now. I want
It's
to
a good vote.
Given that Alderman O'Kane needed to be excused for personal reasons, we will
We all know why.
revisit item 8B, an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance for petitioner North Ridgeview LLC, special use permit number 263 for property with PIN number 1829401-001. Alderman O'Kane, did you have any questions or comments on that item?
No.
Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Butler,
No.
Wilson, Wands,
No.
Pashard,
No.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
Streebing,
Yes.
Pickering,
No.
Ludwig,
No.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
No.
Cooper,
Yes.
7 yes.
By a vote of 7-6, the motion carries. Now, back to 9, approval of payrolls. Yes, sir.
My question, thought it took 8 votes for
It does not, it takes a
No.
majority.
Majority of the.
question that.
Our former corporation counsel said it took a
And I
majority
think he
of
was
vice
wrong.
president.
I think he was wrong too.
I
but
think he
that's
was
what
wrong.
Our ruling was.
And it takes 8 votes according to state statute.
And we tried to pass.
We tried to
thing I
pass
did,
something.
and they-
and
Well,
they voted no.
You could vote.
Based on the advice of the council, we will go with it as is with 7-6, unless our current corporation counsel has a different perspective on the matter. We'd probably need him time to research it, though.
Is it a majority of quorum or a majority of the elected body?
Or
Yeah,
state
unless we
statute
already
says 8
know.
votes.
Would it be better to table this
We've already.
until we, well, I mean, yeah.
I mean, this will be speaking for the council there, do he know?
So the
be
question,
considered.
the
Or just
question
vote,
corporation,
Mayor. You just vote.
I will vote yes.
Okay. That
Motion,
solves it.
8-6, the motion carries.
That solved it.
That's,
But the other thing is the
That
mayor
works.
only
Everyone
votes
votes if it's a tie.
And what-
Exactly.
Oh,
Tie.
oh,
I don't
okay.
think that's not accurate either.
Let's table it.
Given the,
Recall.
I am going, we have an opinion from our former corporation counsel. So unless this corporation counsel does differently, I respect you all greatly, but none of us are lawyers. So I am going to go with the position of the corporation counsel.
Yeah, Eve is.
Research it as well.
I'm sorry, I forgot all the ones that said yes, but none of the rest of us are lawyers, so we're gonna go with what, if we are wrong, then we will bring the issue back before you at the next council meeting. So you just forced me to vote on it and then said it didn't matter. That doesn't make sense. I know you just wanted to get me on the record, but that's okay. Anyways, we have before you items, payroll items for June 7th and 14th. Is there a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Pashard,
Yes.
O'Kane,
yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
Streebing,
He
Left.
he left. Pickering,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Wilson, Wands,
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, the motion carries. You also have before you the vouchers payable for June 6th, 2024, June 18th, 2024, as well as special runs from June 6th and June 17th, 2024. Is there a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
Streebing, Pickering,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Wilson, Wands,
Yes.
Pashard,
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, the motion carries. At this time, we'll receive our Public Works Committee report. Chairman Ford.
Thank you, Mayor. 11A is an ordinance amending Chapter 50 of the City Code prohibiting the use of groundwater as a potable water supply in certain areas. Move to dispense with reading. Ask for your approval. Need a second.
Second.
Questions?
This is just a paperwork thing. Yeah, it's about
Anybody else? Roll call.
Alderman Iverson,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
Streebing, Pickering,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Wilson, Wands,
Yes.
Pashard,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, the motion carries.
There's no objection. I'd like to take 11B and C together. They both deal with purchasing real estate for community improvement. B is an ordinance approving the purchase of real estate for community improvement for properties located at 416 Harmon, 409 Grant, 418 Chandler, 310 Robinson, 314 Robinson, and 432 Harmon. C is an ordinance approving the purchase of real estate for community improvement for property located at 207 National Avenue. Move to dispense reading and ask for your approval. Need a second or a second for both B and C.
Second.
What's with the national one?
Was that a?
Yeah, future stormwater improvements. As the properties become available, it's recommended to pick them up on that creek corridor.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Alderman Poor,
Yes.
Streebing, Pickering,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Wilson, Wands,
Yes.
Pashard,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, the motion carries.
11D is a resolution approving the awarding of a contract for IHDA HAFHR at 2808 East Road and authorizing the Community Development Administrator or representative to approve further IHDA HAFHR contracts for housing rehabilitation projects.
Can you
Move
repeat
to
that?
dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. Need a second.
Second.
And now who knows what those acronyms are? No. Any questions? Hey, roll call, please.
Alderman Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Wilson, Wands,
Yes.
Pashard,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
Streebing, Pickering,
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, the motion carries.
11E is a resolution approving a downtown TIF RIP grant application. Move to dispense reading, ask for your approval. Need a second.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Wilson, Wands,
Yes.
Pashard,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
Streebing, Pickering,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, the motion carries.
11F is a resolution approving a highway authority agreement and an addendum between the City of Danville and GBL Properties, Inc. Move to dispense reading, ask for your approval. Need a second.
Second.
Questions? Alderman Cooper.
This is the gas station. The city's not putting any money into this, are we?
No, it's the opposite. What we negotiated for, that's why there's an addendum included into this highway authority agreement. It is to remove the complete liability from the city of Danville. The landowner is responsible for any soil or remediation if the city ever has to perform maintenance to the soil underneath the pavement.
Underneath that area there or south of it too?
Fairchild.
Well, yeah, so Fairchild would be the city's responsibility, Vermilion's IDOT.
Okay. Has that been totally cleaned up, or do you know? Or
It's close.
has it been tested?
That's why this is being requested. This is typically the last step to get a no further remediation letter with the IEPA.
Okay. So it's presumably been tested and clean. Ready
Yeah,
to go.
it's been tested for, gosh, probably close to a decade now. You know, a long time.
Okay.
Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Alderman Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Wilson, Wands. Yes. Pashard,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Strebing, Pickering.
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, the motion carries.
11G is a resolution approving the purchase of a new vibratory roller. Move dispense, read, and ask for your approval.
Second.
Okay. Questions? Ready, roll call, please.
Alderman York,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Pashard,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Strebing, Pickering,
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, motion carries. 11, if there's no objection, I'd like to take 11H and I together. H is a resolution authorizing an application to the DCEO's RISE Implementation Grant Program. I is a resolution adopting the Downtown Revitalization Plan funded by the DCEO RISE Local and Regional Planning Grant Program. Move to dispense reading, ask for your approval of both H and I, and I would need a second.
Second.
Questions? Logan, anything?
No.
Okay. Logan did a very thorough job last week, so. All righty, roll call, please.
Alderman Cooper,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Wilson, Wands.
Yes.
Pashard,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
Strebing, Pickering,
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
York,
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, the motion carries.
11J is a resolution approving a professional services agreement for the Turtle Run Golf Course Stream Stabilization. Move to dispense reading, ask for your approval. Need a second.
Second.
Questions?
I'm going to abstain from this. I work out there, so I'm
Yeah.
just going to abstain. Just
It's
let
not a
everybody know.
conflict, but I understand.
So I'm abstaining.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Alderman Butler,
Yes.
Wilson, Wands.
Yes.
Pashard,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
Strebing, Pickering,
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
11 yes.
11 yes, the motion carries.
11K is a resolution authorizing the purchase of GPS network rover updates. Move to dispense reading, ask for your approval. Need a second.
Second.
Okay, questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Pashard,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
Strebing, Pickering,
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Wilson, Wands.
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, motion carries. No objection, I'd like to take 11L and M together. L is a resolution amending fiscal year 24-25 budget for the Community Development Block Grant Fund 106. M is a resolution approving the CDBG Annual Action Plan for program year 2024. Move dispense reading, ask for your approval. Need a second.
Second.
Okay, this is the final year of the 5-year plan, so there'll be a new CDBG plan coming out. Okay, questions?
If I could make one
Yes,
quick
Logan.
comment. On 11L, there is a typo for the budget amendment. It should state 106 grant year 24.
Okay.
So if we can have the record reflect that.
So noted.
So the total is 983,000 and change. Okay.
983 225.
Okay.
You never did figure out the formula for that, did you?
I never will.
Used to be so many dollars per person, per population, but who knows? Okay, seeing no questions, roll call please on L and M.
Alderman O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
Streebing, Pickering,
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Cooper.
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Wilson, Wands,
Yes.
Pashard.
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, thank you, motion carries. 11N, items of information. Public Works, anything? Eric? Logan? Dave? Okay. Mayor, that concludes our report.
Thank you, Chairman. At this time, we will receive our Public Services Committee reports. Vice Chairman Pickering.
Yes, 12A1 is the, I need a motion and a second to approve the tobacco license.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Now we'll have the treasury report from our treasurer, Chris Aaron.
Good evening. The treasurer's report will start with the treasurer's office is continuing bank reconciliation of all 10 city accounts from the bank statements to our city software. This is roughly a 12-step process for the general account alone. Less steps are required for all the other accounts. The treasurer's office is currently receiving training from Martin Hood Accounting, our city comptroller, and the finance division, and working side by side with all of them to bring these accounts current. I'd like to again thank Comptroller Massey, our finance division, and Martin Hood for everyone's continued effort to rectify this situation. We're currently working on November and December 2023. We are still hopeful to be fully caught up by the end of August 24. Lastly, we are also preparing right now for our second quarterly fire and police pension board meetings, which will be on July 8th, 2024. That concludes my report.
Thank you, treasurer. Are there any items of information from our public service? No, Mayor, that concludes our public service report.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. You'll be glad to know we do not have a need for closed session. Having satisfied the agenda, are there any items of information for the good of the cause?
But I've got a question, if we don't mind, with somebody else.
Yes.
You know, it's been brought up to my attention, is there a way we can get a member of the mission to come here to this council and explain what's going on or what happened? We give them $30,000 or $35,000 to do electrical work, and about 2 months later, they close shop. You know, I'm hearing a lot of rumors. I'm sure we all are, but can we have somebody from them come here in next meeting and answer some questions?
I will request that. What I can tell you is, unfortunately, the board is ever changing. I attended a meeting with them last Monday. As I entered, I was only the second or third person that arrived. I noticed that there was a computer and a stack of paperwork and keys. And as the other board members arrived, they opened the note, and it was a resignation from the woman who had just been elected president at the previous month. So unless they've added additional members since, unfortunately, they are now down to 4 members. Now, what I can tell you is those 4 members, I think, are men of strong character, and I worked with them on a plan on how they can get themselves in a better standing. I can certainly ask that one of them come. I'm not sure who. If they've chosen a new president, I will reach out to all 4 of them and request that someone attend.
I guess, you know, where I'm coming from, we've got a homeless situation in this town, and that was one of the ways we're addressing it. And right now, we have no resources for it. And I'd like to see something done about that.
Sure.
And, you know, if we can get answers from them, I'd like to hear them.
Sure. How about the women's? Yeah, it's gotta be worse because the women show.
So what was formerly known as the Danville Rescue Mission, I forget their new acronym, VCR, Vermilion County Restoration.
Yeah.
What we've known as formerly as Dayspring is now closed as well. So the only actual homeless shelter we have right now is for women and children, with male children under 12 at the former YWCA downtown, the YFRC. I can tell you that Logan and I have had conversations, given that we will be having a new CDBG plan, and one of the things that we can address, and that is homelessness. That's something that we hope to work towards long term, but it's not a quick or easy fix.
Because I've seen more people on the streets recently.
There's a lot. I mean,
it's been very frustrating to me because in the past, whenever anyone had needs, Administrator Finch was always really good to help us connect people to needs, to help meet needs. At the rescue mission, they always, I always told people, like, listen, if you see a man who's homeless, there's one of two things going on likely. He has mental health issues, and those, I can tell you, Chief Yates and our officers have worked with our homeless population over and over, trying to get them to the right places. We've helped people get hospitalized, we've helped people get housing, all kinds of things. Unfortunately, sometimes they often refuse help, and then the larger population, unfortunately, are those who struggle with various sorts of addictions or who refuse to follow rules. You know, there was never a man that needed shelter that couldn't have shelter if he had the right mindset for it, as long as the mission was open. So that is something that is certainly frustrating. I really want to thank the Dwelling Place and others who have stepped up their efforts to provide additional meals, and you know, they are a wonderful resource in terms of how they provide showers for folks, an ability for people to wash their clothes. They provide meals. They help with resumes. They help with a host of things. They also have the two homes that they've restored, Manual House and what's the Bethlehem House, I think is the second one. Those are, though, for individual families, so they can only house one family at a time, right? So that is a challenge as well, but we really appreciate the work that they've done. Also, we have a number of food pantries throughout the community, and yes, they provide some things that have to be cooked, but they provide things that don't have to be as well. So there shouldn't be anyone who is going hungry in terms of starving in our community because of the things that are available. However, we desperately need quality housing for folks still.
Well, I guess
Let's see. They're getting fed on Monday and Friday, and there's some groups doing some Tuesdays and Thursdays, but often that's the only meals they get.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then yes, the Serve Together for Vermilion County is providing meals on a couple of those other days that you mentioned. So I just want to say I really appreciate everyone who has stepped up to help people.
Why is the Danville mission closed?
I couldn't give you a good answer. The best that I can ascertain from the outside looking in is that you've had a few individuals who had the right heart who maybe became authoritative, and and then, you know, things didn't end well with their leadership. And so I think all of the board members that are there now are new, I would say definitely within the last 6 months, and maybe as recently as the last 2 or 3 months, Alderman Pritchard. But I mean, again, this is the best that I can ascertain from the outside looking in.
Well, I knew that it had been closed, but I just never did know why.
There are some major challenges there. So Logan had previously toured the facility, and I toured the facility recently. The building has amazing bones, but they need a lot of upgrades and such on the inside.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The structure has really good bones, but it also needs hundreds of thousands of dollars of infrastructure improvements to it. We played a small role, the city did, with CDBG dollars by upgrading their electrical so we can get heat and air into the rooms. It's a big deal. But I would agree with the mayor's statement. It needs a lot of money. Is it livable right now? Absolutely. Will it be livable in 15 to 20 years without major investment? I can't confidently say so.
But, you know, and that's why I'd like to have somebody from that board to come here and answer some of these questions. I mean, is it that issue they're having? I mean, I'm sure there's grants out there they could probably apply for, but, you know, all we're hearing is rumors, and apparently you are too. And if we can get some type of solid answer is what I'd like to get.
What I can tell you is I asked them a lot of these same questions, and the problem is when you have people that have only been on the board 2 months, they can't really tell you what happened previously. They're doing their best to piece things back together as well. So I think the best answer would probably be to ask one of the former board members, but I will ask them to come. But again, most of them have been there, if not all of them, 2 months or less. I mean, literally at that meeting that I was at, I know for sure at least 2 of them had just been appointed to the board within the last month. So,
okay, do they have a goal of reopening, or I mean?
That's what they're working on right now. But when you come to a meeting and the board president that you just elected last time is no longer there, you have to take some time to get your bearings back. I can tell you that they have an issue with debt. Their debt versus their income right now, I would say it's around $20,000. They were able to provide that for me. I told them that it's critical that they do a couple of things. Number one, they have to put together a budget for when they are meeting their mission well. What does it cost them? And I told them to give not only monthly expenses but annual expenses. If there are things that just come up once a year that you've got to take care of, just to make sure that they include any and every expense that they possibly could in this budget, and also any revenue they have. It is my understanding that right now nearly their only revenue is what they receive from the thrift store. So what I would say to folks is, if you really wish to help in the meantime, one of the best ways you can do is going there to shop, but also to give to them financially. I can tell you, well, I personally give monthly. I have in the past. I am hoping that they will become a bit more organized so that I can feel good about that contribution.
And I know people it's contributing to, and they're questioning whether they should continue or not. And that's the type of answers we need to find out.
What I can tell you is, I am very concerned about the state of things right now. However, I can tell you, if we don't support them financially, then we'll never have anything reopen. And if that's the case, then we're going to have to rally around another group of individuals in our community who's willing to do it. I think that that's not the best idea, given, as Logan said, that we have a facility at least that is usable now that we could look at partnering with over the long run, once they get things in order. That's the biggest thing I stress to them, is that they do things decently and in order. And I think you have some really decent people on the board, but they've got to bring a lot of order and structure to the situation before I would feel good about recommending that we partner with them as a city.
Who appoints people to that board?
They appoint themselves. It's a nonprofit, just the same as the YMCA or the Women's Care Clinic or Survivor Resource Center.
So they could call Ms. Pickering tomorrow and say, "Hey, would you like to join our board?" She could say yes or no. She could do a pretty good job too, I think.
They have asked me for suggestions as to board members. I have not had the time to work on that yet, but that is something that's important that I intend to do in the next couple of weeks. But they need someone they need a couple of different areas of need. Number one, people that are good with financial management. Number two, people that are good with programmatic management, making sure that there's a structure and there's a program. And that's one of those things, too. Also, it might sound like a weird combination, but it might be where we call on our friends from the various dispensaries to help us make this situation right.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect timing, Laura.
Welcome.
Very often partner with local organizations to do fundraisers or to do a special day where we have a portion of profits go to them. So you joke, but we do that kind of thing all the time.
No, I know. We've talked about it. That's why I said it. So,
Can you identify who's on the current board? I'm testing your memory.
I don't know that I recall all of their names. I could certainly share that with you. These men have stepped up in a dire circumstance, and they're putting their necks and their reputations on the line to try to make a bad situation right. So I would prefer not to say that publicly. Right. But the ones I can recall at least 3 of their first names and 2 of their last names. I'll be happy to share that with you after the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Having satisfied, Vice Mayor.
I just wanted to alert everyone that the Juneteenth celebration is tomorrow. in Temple Plaza. It starts at 1. There will be free food. There will be free ice cream. I'm not exactly sure what else. I am not on the committee. At 6 o'clock, there will be a panel discussion with Representative Schweizer and myself from 6 to 7:30 at Masonic Temple. That's all I know.
The violinist, do you?
And the violinist too, yes, and a violinist.
There's going to be an amazing violinist that's over there at the temple as well afterwards. So if you get a chance, you should certainly come down. And I believe Pastor Miller will be opening things up in prayer around 1 or 2, and then I speak at 5. But it's going to be a day full of activity. So
and I know that there's also a lot of prizes as well. They have partnered with CrossPoint, who provided funds to, which is why there's a lot of free things happening. So come with your families.
Yes, Alderman Butler.
Yes, also on the 22nd, there's going to be a forum of the candidates that's running for the county board, and also within the state representatives on Saturday, the 22nd, starting at noon. The forum will start at 1 o'clock. So free food, bring your kids. We're gonna have some bounce houses and soft drinks, and water. And there's a guy gonna be cooking rib tips, barbecue. So if you got a hunger that's going on, just swing on by. It's gonna be at the Roselawn Fitness Center.
And what time?
Start at noon. And hopefully we'll be in probably about 2:30, 3 o'clock.
Alderman, I will be out of town, but my brother-in-law will be there. You be in good hands.
Yeah.
Anything else? Having satisfied the agenda, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.